What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another account progression video. Alright, so it is time to get another tier 2, and as you can see, Goliath is going to be up for the tier 2ing today. And yeah, I decided to finally tier 2 him because he is a pretty nice character, actually. I didn't really look too much at him when he first came out, but he's a really strong character, especially in Shadowland. I've been finding him very useful for doing rumbles on his own, just because he has so much AoE on his skills, and he does really nice damage, even without a damage proc. So yeah, he's a pretty good character all around. So let's go ahead and take a look at him before we tier 2 him. So for these skills here, we have the second skill all the way leveled up so that we can get that increase to all attack and all speed. Besides that, we have the fourth skill leveled up to get that minus 7% decrease to defense, which I'm not sure if this needed to be leveled up. It might have started at like 2% or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, we got the 7% down for the enemies there. And then we leveled this one up to get the 10% all attack, all defense, and all speed. And then what's nice about this, we have 4 seconds of invincibility, not just all damage immune, but invincibility is nice. But he does have super armor from his passive right here anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much, actually, that it's invincibility and not immune to all damage. But anyway, those are the skills that we have leveled up. His ice weight set here, we have Power the Angry Hulk, so I do like having an offensive set on him, because like I said, he does actually have really good damage, so I'd like to kind of boost that up or synergize it as much as I can with his damage output. And then for his obelisk, we actually have an invincibility obelisk, and I put that on him because despite having good damage, having that 4 seconds of invincible, having super armor, he still dies pretty quickly, mainly because his iframes don't start until like partway through his skill animation. So like halfway through the skill animation you then get your iframes, so he doesn't have too much way to protect himself from taking damage, so he's pretty much going to be getting hit most of the time you are hitting them, so it's pretty much who kills who faster. But then having this invincibility really helps with that. That's mainly for like world boss or something like that, because in Shadowland his skills have so many hits and the AoE is so wide, you can generally keep them kind of stun locked the entire time, so you're not really going to be taking too much damage in a Shadowland situation. But I was trying him out in world boss, which is why I had the invincibility obelisk on him and then the ignore dodge, mainly because I was thinking of making him a more PvP kind of tailored character because of, like I was talking about, the AoE, the nice damage, and then having the ignore dodge to just really help with dealing with any dodge characters, and the invincibility, of course, to keep him alive a little bit longer. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get onto the main event, which is going to be tier 2ing him. So as you can see, we do have enough bios to tier 2 him naturally, and that was because I didn't realize how close I was to finishing off his gears, and I had gave him that 300 bio pack that we got like a while back. So I've had him ready for a while now, because you can kind of think back to when we got those 300 bios for the login bonus. But anyway, I only had like one gear to level up, and I gave him that 300 pack, and I'm like, oh, whoops. So yeah, I might as well take advantage of those extra bios and just level him up naturally. So here we go. Yes, let's go ahead and get him to tier 2. Boom. There we go, Goliath tier 2. Another giant man. That's funny. I didn't even realize that was his the name of his tier 2 passive. But anyway, his tier 2 passive is going to be decrease all damage received by 30%. Again, that's really nice because I was mentioning he does have a little bit of trouble in the survivability department, so this is going to help him out quite a bit. And then we have an increase to skill damage by 32% and bonus damage by 15%, so it'll increase his already pretty high damage, which is really nice. So we'll be able to kind of blast through those later Shadowland floors pretty easily. So let's go ahead and close this out. And then we have Goliath Project. Very nice. Alright, so now that we have Goliath freshly tier 2, let's go ahead and try him out with a little bit of gameplay. Alright, so here we are at floor 15 for Shadowland. We have an entry mode here, so we got a nice lineup of enemies here to try Goliath out against. There are a lot of blast characters in here, so That's why I kind of have a little bit of help in here for him. So we have Groot to maybe heal him up a little bit, and then we have Doc Ock here with his Spider-Man uniform on, or Ultimate Spider-Man, so that we can get some webbing going up and hopefully to help keep Goliath alive, because like I said, that's pretty much his only downfall is just his survivability, because his damage is pretty good. But against blast characters, I still think he might need a little bit of help, even though he does get that 45% on his leadership. So let's go ahead and just see how we can do here. Hopefully it'll go nice and smooth, and we can show off Goliath positively here. Alright, so we'll open up with our invincibility here, and then hopefully just start spamming some skills. Alright, so there we go, we got the webbing, we've already got a heal up from Groot, so very nice. So both Groot and Doc Ock being tier 1 hopefully means they're not going to be contributing a ton of damage, so most of this should be Goliath, but since we are only on floor 15, tier 1s can still technically do this, so they're still going to be putting in normal damage. But this is where we're going to need the help the most, just because we have 2 blast types here, so that will definitely slow Goliath down in terms of clearing this stage. Oh, looks like Groot is taking a little bit of a beating over there. Alright, Sharon Rogers has her invincibility up from her 3rd skill, making this a little bit longer to take her down. Yeah, those blast types, man, they're taking a while to beat down here. Alright, chill, Ironheart, and set. There we go, that's enough. Alright, so it was a little close there on the second half. We only had 18 seconds left, but we were able to get through it. I think Groot, Baby Groot, was actually helping out quite a bit in dealing damage to the blast characters. But as you can see, Goliath has really good kind of just crowd control. His skills just have such a wide radius that you can luckily catch most of the enemies in its blast for these kind of rumbles or stages where you're fighting 3 enemies. Of course, 2 enemies, a lot of other characters can crowd control them just fine, but Goliath can excel at controlling more than 2 characters, so that's kind of why I chose an entry mode here. Could have just waited for a rumble, but this was seemed like a good stage to take him out on. So as you can see, his damage was pretty good. Like I said, it's pretty high for a combat character. Well, a combat character. It's pretty high for what I'd say the farmable characters that they've been releasing recently. So I definitely like Goliath quite a bit in that aspect, because it did surprise me. When he very first came out, his damage seemed okay to me, but then I was trying him out a little bit more, and I'm like, you know what? He's actually really good here in Shadowland. He can burst down these stages pretty nicely, and he doesn't really need too much help, because outside of this entry mode here, you could just solo the other stages, the regular rumbles, the just regular rally modes and those kind of things, so he doesn't really need the extra help, just maybe in terms of damage if you have a mixture on the stage. So if you're doing him like the hero stage, then maybe he might have some difficulty with War Machine or Iron Patriot in that stage, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's just going to be kind of my thoughts on Goliath there. Overall, a really nice character, very solid. Just needs, like I said, a little bit of help in the survivability department. But his damage is good, and he's still going to be good in PvP as well with the stuns and the wide range on his skills. You can hit the enemy from pretty far away. You just have to be mindful of those delayed iframes. That's my only complaint about the character. If the skills where he had the iframes on actually had the iframe for the start of the skill, or I don't know, the iframe for the entire skill, he would be a lot better. But anyway, I definitely recommend building him up if you can. He's worth the bios. Like I could have used this selector here on him if I didn't already have him built up, and that would be well worth it. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.